This next part of the pathfinding in Tyflow will be the part 3 of showing how to actually create a blob mesh and heat density, as well as a spline, so you can actually track where the paths of these pedestrians or traffic is actually going along the path. So first thing you want to do is just open up the Tyflow editor. Just make that one a little bit smaller before you're doing anything. We can scroll over and then we just type in tab and we want to add the spline paths and add spline paths into the actual script. We just want to create a new rather than picking an object, and that turns it into Tyspline from the script we've already created. So now you can see that there's actually a white line that's coming out of the building. And if we turn off Tyflow, now we've got the individual spline, which is showing us the pathways that these people are projecting towards the destination buildings. As you can see here, it goes all the way through the existing paths that it's created without having Tyflow actually visible. So now if we turn off the road network, you can actually see how these tie splines move around, and it makes it a lot clearer to show what their destinations are. So we want to actually map this properly now. So the next thing we want to do is go add, and we want to add in a tie mesher. So now we can just add a tie mesher into some empty space. We can click on that, go to modify, and instead of compound mesh, we want to actually be using a blob mesh. So we can just change that one there, and we just want to pick, and we're going to be picking the tie spline. So turn everything off that's not the tie spline, so it's easy to find it in the area. Turn those off, and we just want to have those white lines and select it. And now we've got ourselves a blob mesh, but you can see that it's just a solid color, and that doesn't really show us much. So what we want to do is we want to show some sort of mapping and heat mapping on that, so we can see the density. Say red is a more dense area of where pedestrian movement is, realistically where the main position object and volume is. So if you open up an existing file where you've got a mesh similar to that, such as that gradient mesh, we can just export that one, and we just want to quickly export that. So just go to File, Export, Export Selected, just save that one as a default FBX. And then we can go back into the file that we're actually using, and we're just going to be importing it into that file there, which will actually just bring the material with it, which is all we need is just the material. This is just a quick workaround of doing that. So as you can see now, that terrain is brought in, and that terrain has got the material on it that we need. So if we just open up the material editor now, and we can go up, just make it a little bit smaller just so you can see both the 3ds Max screen and the slate material editor, as so, and just go to material and then get all scene materials, and they'll bring everything that's in the scene into this tab. So you can see here the material here, the PBR one, material number 2 is the one we're after, and we just want to assign that material to selection. So select the blob mesh and then right click and assign material to selection. So now you can see we've got reds and yellows to show the density of this traffic of either pedestrians or vehicles, so that we can highlight where we can either expand roads, thin roads, so we know where the main arterial roads are as well, and what can be improved generally at intersections or of point of entries.